Cruise news time. Well, we've got a big story about a major cruise line updating its mixed vaccine policy, and another cruise line extending their vaccine mandate, and another story of a family all tripped up by testing, plus a lot more. Cruise news. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news updates. Well, it is Wednesday, September the 22nd, 2021, and we're marching our way toward the weekend. I'm marching my way toward a trip to Las Vegas and to Los Angeles, and I'm pretty fired up about that. And just a quick update from yesterday's show. Apparently, I showed the wrong UK flag. I just did a Google search for UK flag. I pulled the first image, but apparently the image I pulled was like from the 1600s. Who even knew they had Google in the 1600s? But yeah, so apologies to my friends in the UK for misrepresenting the flag. Was not my intention, just a poor Google error. So there you go. But we do have some cruise news. We've got a mixed bag of cruise news today. A lot of talk about vaccination. So we're going to talk about mixed vaccines. We're going to talk about an extension of the vaccine mandate. We're going to talk about a cruise line, cancellations, and another family that's all tripped up by testing. Where do we begin? Let's just start with the mixed vaccine update. So Royal Caribbean has updated their vaccine policies incorporating mixed vaccines. Now, unfortunately, it's probably not going to be the good story that everybody wants, but they are now allowing mixed vaccines on their cruise ship as the CDC guidance has been updated over the last few days. Here's the big thing. You still cannot mix AstraZeneca with Pfizer or Moderna. I know this is the big concern because in some countries like Canada, they were given one shot of the AstraZeneca and then another shot of either the Moderna or the Pfizer. The problem is those are different delivery systems. The Pfizer and the Moderna are mRNA vaccines. The AstraZeneca is not. And so here's the deal. If you got Johnson & Johnson and any other flavor of the vaccine, you're considered fully vaccinated. Of course, the Johnson & Johnson also by itself, you're considered fully vaccinated. If you got, of course, 2 shots of Moderna or 2 shots of Pfizer, fully vaccinated, as long as the time is gone, like 14 days after the last shot. If you got 1 Moderna, 1 Pfizer, fully vaccinated. But again, the thing that people really want is they want the opportunity to be 1 AstraZeneca and either 1 Pfizer, 1 Moderna. That's not acceptable still in this scenario. So while Royal Caribbean has updated their mixed vaccine policy, it probably hasn't gone far enough for the people that are looking for AstraZeneca being mixed with something else. That's the question. I'll throw it out to you. Does this new policy update help you? Or if you're out there with a mixed vaccine, are you there with the AstraZeneca and something else? Leave a comment below. Cruise news story number 2. Let's talk about the Utah family that got denied boarding on their cruise because of COVID testing. A family from Utah, a dad and 2 of his kids going on a cruise out of California this past weekend. The dad is old enough to be vaccinated. The daughter is old enough to be vaccinated. The son is not old enough to be vaccinated. So you got 2 people that are fully vaccinated and 1 person that is unvaccinated. Here's where it all went sideways. To go cruising on Carnival, everybody has to take a COVID test before they get to the port and show up with a negative test result. If you are vaccinated, you can take a rapid antigen test or you can take the PCR test, and you have to do that within 2 days of your cruise. If you're unvaccinated, you have to take a PCR test. That's your only option, and you have 3 days before your cruise to do that. Well, all 3 of them took a rapid test, and so this is where the problem began. They got to the cruise port, they presented their test results, and they said, well, you guys are good except for your son. He's been flagged red. He's got to get a retest. They're saying that Carnival did not tell them why, but they did say in the story that they all had the rapid test. And so if you go look at Carnival's policy, it's not hidden. They said they got an email saying that they all had to be tested, and they also got the email saying that if you're unvaccinated, you had to have a PCR test. It does not sound like they got a PCR test for the son. That's the policy on the website. That's the policy they got in the email. But they're saying when they got to the cruise port, now they were in a scramble because they were told that the son had to be retested. So they couldn't get the test in time. The ship sailed off without them being on it. This is another one of those stories. Again, it's a cautionary tale. They said very clearly they got 3 rapid tests, but the documentation says very clearly that if you're unvaccinated, you have to have a PCR test. It doesn't sound like they did that. Look, it's a challenge right now, but again, you got to make sure you know that you have what you need. And PCR versus antigen is a very important thing. If you're unvaccinated and there's a PCR test required, make sure you get a PCR test. Then you can avoid some of this. But yeah, another sad story of a family not getting to cruise because of the challenges of testing. It's not easy to cruise right now in 2021. I'll continue to say it. If you don't have the tolerance for all of this rigmarole, maybe not cruise. Most of the cruise lines are allowing you to move your cruise into 2022, 2023, when maybe this will be a little less challenging. But yeah, cautionary tale. Pay attention there. And I still got 2 big cruise news stories for you. Before we get there, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you get notified when the show comes out. That's the important thing. It doesn't cost anything, and it helps us go. We're trying to get to 125,000 subscribers. Please be a part of that number. Thank you in advance. All right, first big cruise news story. Not an exciting one. Not great news for our friends in the land of Oz. In Australia, 2 Carnival Corporation brands announcing further pushing out of the cruise restart in Australia. Yesterday, P&O Australia and Princess Cruising dropping the announcement they are continuing their pause of operations into 2022. P&O Australia was set to get restarted in December of 2021. They're now pushing into January, and then Princess, they've also pushed into January. This continues to be on Australia's stance on what's going on with the virus. They're keeping the country locked down tight. They're not really opening up for tourism, and yeah, it's just it's a bummer as we see cruising restart all around the world. Basically, Australia, New Zealand continues to be holdouts in that cruise restart, and I know it's frustrating, and we commiserate with you guys. Unfortunately, the big players down there seeing the writing on the wall, pushing out the cruise restart until 2022. And then finally, we've got a cruise line that's extending their vaccine mandate all the way through 2022. This has been a big question. How long will the vaccine mandates be in place? Well, we've got Crystal Cruises extending their vaccine mandate through 2022 for their river cruises and their ocean cruise lines. Of course, this is a smaller, high-end luxury cruise line, caters to maybe an older crowd, so it makes sense. But oftentimes, as we watch the signals of these smaller cruise lines down the road, we see the same thing happen in the larger cruise lines. Boom, that's your cruise news. Time for you to sound off. Seems like vaccine and testing continues to rue the day, continues to have a big impact on cruising. And let's not forget masking. That's what it's like to cruise in 2021. Let's have a discussion. Leave a comment below. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. Please hit the like button or you'll find yourself without hair gel. You have to just wear your hair down. It happens. This is Tony with Lido, Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.